Hey everyone, so this is going to be part 2 of 2026 predictions. The storm has passed over, so I'm thinking that the connection is going to be a bit better now, hopefully. Any case, we'll get into it. So I was discussing, if I go back to part 1, I was talking about a channel message that I'd written out. In years to come through information. Yeah, I was talking about in years to come and how we were going to actually start to move into alignment with the space, friends, other dimensional beings, and that sort of thing. It's all going to take a few years, that though. Okay, and we'll get into the next message. Hey Wade, good to see you. Here we go again. Let's see if this one works. Anyways, let's get back into it. So this is part 2 of part 1. If you haven't seen part 1, please go see part 1 first, because part 1 has a lot of information on it straight up. Here we go. You're either going to discover more about yourself and how your journey was never meant to be to follow others. Meant to be following those who try to use influence to control your world, or you're going to be so scared that you only trust others to show you the way, leading you to be contained by a controlled society. I'm pretty sure it'll be the first one with those that are watching, but we have to take into account that there are going to be those that are going to be stuck in the mud, really looking outside themselves, not doing the inner work, not trusting their feelings, only trusting other people and what they tell them what to do, feeling like they don't have any say, they don't have any power to shift their story, that sort of thing, because they wouldn't have done the inner work, and that is going to play out as well. But the more that you do the work, the more that you're going to see that them in the peripheral vision, it's going to be like they're over there doing their thing, but we're over here doing ours. They won't be able to see you. It's literally lifting you up into a new dimension where they don't see you. It's kind of like talking to somebody, right? And they really don't understand the spiritual side or context of anything. Very, very logically based. They don't want to believe it. They don't want anything to do with it. You can almost say right there and then, you're in a higher dimension because you can see them. You can see what they're going through because you've been through it. But they can't come to you. They can't understand you. And they literally look very confused. And you'll see that black look go on their eyes. They won't be able to see or understand what you're talking about. You're in a higher dimension. So we in higher dimensions, it's also an inner higher dimension. Like you can't look up what we're talking to. We won't be able to see benevolent beings and that sort of thing. They're in really, really high dimensions if we're not open to it. And so, yeah, that's going to happen. You could call that the split, but it's really just a human consciousness, I suppose, either staying in the controlled society or moving into an open, unlimited of possibilities. This pressure of fear that the seemingly powerful started, which seemingly powerful, what I'm talking about, those ones and just seem in charge. They're the ones that started the fear game. This pressure of fear that the seemingly powerful started could see the rise in violence through 2026, and then the powers, they will actually use that to enforce what they want to control society. But on the other hand, others will create a utopia for themselves. So see, we're going to have this awareness of what's really going on, and we're going to see also what the shadow work that other people are going to have to go through. And it's going to play out in these ways of limitations by those that are in fear, because it's literally reflecting fear as a program as limitations, because fear is a limited program. or expansion of as in connection through love, through trusting oneself, to trust others and that sort of thing, bringing in a utopic experience. And that's all going to start happening in 226. These are all cracks that you're going to start to see more and more of, alignments of. On a more personal note, this is a year where we don't quite know what's coming next, but we've had enough of what's been. And life will seemingly feel boring, which is a sign of knowing it's time to level up. Because you're trying to get your entertainment from a society that's out of balance and only pulling a fair program on, and you're bored with it. It's just like watching programs, and they're all to do with, fear-based things, like, or horror and that sort of stuff, and looking into the future where everything's falling apart and destructing. Well, it is. There are going to be some destructions, but to find a new way to make life feel fun, to free yourself of all the mind crap, you're going to have to step out of looking towards something that you've been used to doing, which could be watching programs and movies that are predicting, the worst scenarios and that seems to be all that's there in existence at the moment, because they're in charge of those that want to infiltrate humanity's consciousness with these programs are the ones that are funding. They have the money to fund those kind of movies. So, yeah, you'll be bored with it, and then you're like, okay, how am I going to shift out of this? And then asking those questions. It's always the questions that carve the new path and help us bring in a new alignment so that we can expand our reality. And then we're going to be getting more excited about doing this work from within us, aligning ourselves with new ways of thinking, new ways of imagining, and other people that are doing the same thing as you are. I want to I'll read this bit out in a minute, but they do want to touch on, there's going to be some earthquakes happening around Earth. So in the when it comes to weather and Earth and the sun, the solar flares are ramping up for a while. They're going to have a space. They always go in pulses anyway. Everything goes in pulses, just like a heartbeat. That is life. That's nature. Nature goes in pulses. So you'll have some solar flares, and then it will seemingly drop off. We might open up to corona holes and that sort of thing, which is still going to, it's like whenever I feel a corona hole and Earth herself, if a big corona hole is facing Earth, I really feel this static kind of feeling about it, like it's really cutting straight to the core of the void of the sun, where it's kind of like everything dries up, and I feel earthquakes are going to happen with the corona holes and stuff like that. So you might get a feeling of that. I feel that could happen. It's a shake-up of consciousness and reflection to humanity's consciousnness too. I still feel like there could be, with the earthquakes, then the emotions come. So the emotions will be tidal waves. I feel like the tornadoes are going to subside a little bit more because we're starting to get control of that anger. So there's probably going to be more earthquakes, a few more tsunamis. You won't be caught up in them unless you are supposed to. If you're highly awakened and you feel like that's where you're supposed to be, obviously it's where you're supposed to be. But you won't get caught up into it just because of a lesson. You'll be caught into it because you want to help guide others out of it. That's the difference. So I do feel that because we're going through the fires when it comes to the fire horse and stuff like that, with the solar flares, I think there's going to be a few more biggies coming our way. Interesting. Also, food that is natural, earth-based will be a great investment for people who are starting businesses to do with more natural food-based businesses, because that investment will be because more people will awaken to their health. There's a lot more to say about that, but when it comes to health and YouTube, we can't really speak about it. Not sure how I'm going to do that. If I want to bring those messages through, I could do it on my Patreon, I suppose, and do a lesson on that. Yeah, anyways. But it will be a start of many realizing that they're better off relying on earth rather than a chemist. So also, and also doing that inner work. Also, many more will reach out for authentic, spiritually based people because they would have found their own inner support gaining humanity's trust, and there is something missing. This is all new, though, so it will be those who are very authentic and true to themselves that will be an advantage for others. As on the other hand, some people who haven't found their own trust in themselves will gravitate towards those who take them for a spiritual bad ride, which will actually awaken both parties to their authenticity and truth and self-igniting shadow work, as both won't get what they were expecting. But it's not about a blame game on the other person anymore. They have to tune in and realize that they were part of the story that aligned them with somebody who was egotistically, spiritually in mind and trying to get money from them or something like that. I mean, money is needed at the moment because that's the way that we are fixated on abundance. But those that are trying to only really their whole goal is money, and it's really not spirituality, and they just copy and paste other people's stuff, that sort of thing, can catch you in. But then you're going to have to trust your own intuition again. So that was what I was saying in part 1. Most important thing in 2026 is learning to trust your intuition. Now I want to talk about the fire horse energy, because the fire horses, if you ever know anything about Chinese horoscopes, the females in China, if they were born in the year of the fire horse, were literally killed off. They killed the babies that were female in the year of if they were born in the year of the fire horse. And that is because that is a really strong power for the feminine rising and the intuition coming. So this is why it's really important to understand that the masculine who was scared of that feminine power rising killed them off. And now you can see why 2026 is more to do with that fire underneath our belly, the power of the feminine charging forward. So because of that, we are going to see a lot more of these, like, honestly, it's just going to be like, stuff it. I'm just going to go for it. I don't care anymore, because that's what the fire horse energy is like. If you've ever met a fire horse, they're real tenacious. They just go and go and go and go and go, because the horse in Chinese horoscopes go and go and go. My father's one. I've been with quite a few fire horses as well. My father's not a fire horse, but I have been with fire horses in my relationships, and they're real go, 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 and they get very dogmatic, and they stick with one thing, and they just keep going at it, like they just keep chiseling through. They don't care. So we're going to have this tenaciousness about us, but it's going to be more of a spiritually based kind of a tenaciousness if you are more feminine inclined. So we're going to see the sparks of all this new development happening around the world coming into 2026 through this fire horse energy. And that's why they're also saying in reflection, we're going to have these solar flares as well, because we need that extra oomph, like literally a push for humanity's consciousness to step out. It's like a break free, a break away from the old tradition of the masculine being in charge. And the power of the feminine, if it's not inverted, an inverted power of the feminine can be quite ugly. It can like cast spells and do all that, and still try to do things, push things outside of them, like control everything outside of them through magical incantations, I think you call it that. They're bringing up that. The witches are going to kind of like come up into their power, but we have to have that balance within ourselves as we do this, because the more that you fight everything outside of you, the more that you're still stepping into a fear program, and it will pull you back into problems again. So it has to come with this understanding of both are needed, that masculine and the feminine is needed for us to really create this utopic feeling on earth, which is what we're after. We're after peace on earth. We're after feeling good about ourselves. We're after freedom of expression. We're after using our imagination to be able to move forward again and not have to go through a whole heap of legislation to be able to even, put up a shed outside our backyard and that sort of thing. So I do feel because of that, councils and stuff, about people in councils that are going to start going through their own shadow work, they might get a little ugly for a bit, but they will start to realize it's not working for them anymore, and they will shift by the end of the year to, okay, that's it, we'll let you guys have your shed. And that sort of I'm sort of predicting that there's going to be some changes when it comes to the red tape that humanity has put in front of us. Fences coming down, we don't need them anymore. That's going to come in the future too. Eventually we won't even need the fences. They're bringing me to Fiji, where Fiji doesn't have fences. They know whose horse is who and that sort of thing, and the horses just kind of roam around. So anyways, that's happening as well. Let's see if anything else comes through. I'm glad that it's not freezing. I mean, the picture, the image, right? It's not frozen. Yay. So let's see what else comes up. You're really welcome, Cherie. Thank you for your wisdom this year. You're really welcome. I will not stop. With my channeling. Doesn't matter if I'm the poorest person on earth. It's the only thing that gives me an alignment to my soul, and I know that I'm in the right place doing this. So I will not stop, because if I stop, there's no purpose for me to be here. Is there anything else that's wanting to come through? I think that in itself, and that statement, I think that's really how you're going to feel with yourself and resonate with what your purpose of what you're really here for. I think that's going to open up for you in 2026, your actual purpose of what you're here for. And I think when you really, really get that, then and you say, I am that, it's just is who I am, then the rest of the outside world will start to bend towards you becoming that, and you will be able to literally fulfill the missions. It's going to be a lot of igniting and starting of new businesses. It might be a little bit where you start and then it stops and then stop, because you're still getting used to that energy of alignment with being the magnificent you as you approach your missions. Always keep reminding yourself, just being born gives you the what would I call that? The mirror of abundance. You don't need to be anything more than what you already are. It's just you realizing that, and that you don't follow the logical program that's pulled over you to say the only way that you can be of worth to anything is to have be working your butt off all the time, have a lot of money all the time, look like to others that you're rich and that sort of thing. No, just being born means that source energy chose you, and humanity's consciousness chose you, and earth chose you, and that is enough for you to put your own crown on your head to say that you are worthy of fulfilling any mission that you want, so you can carry on through your life feeling complete, instead of feeling like you don't fit into something that you really shouldn't have even tried to fit in the first place. So you can see through these channel messages, I really feel this intenseness, this go-getter kind of a feeling for 2026. But it's kind of like also in tune with the opposite sides of ourselves that we haven't looked at as much in the past, because we had a fear of that opposite side of ourselves. So sort of like love can show itself in many forms, and standing up for oneself and saying, no, that's how it's going to go. is also can be coming from love, where people outside of you are like, oh, she's pushy, oh, she's trying to control. No, if it's coming from a intuitive value of yourself and knowing that you are in the right place for yourself, and this is how you want your reality to become better for the benefit of all, then you need to be able to stand up for that as well and have the tenacity to stand up for it. Because in the past, it was those that were unbalanced that had the tenacity, but they didn't have the balance. They were one-sided. They were all looking outside themselves to look good, and that needs to fall away. So, yeah, this is the shift that we're going through 2026. See if there's anything else. Does anyone have any questions about 2026? I suppose I could open up for that and see if anyone has any questions. If they're wondering about something, see if my team comes through with the answer. What else is coming through? Definitely a lot more alignments, but I want to just tap into, so we've gone through the space thing. I did bring up that there's not going to be a lot of, I feel like there's going to be countries out there that are going to try to do the space race kind of thing, but I feel like it's not going to kind of work because we're not quite ready, and still looking outside ourselves without being in alignment with the higher frequencies that we really want to match to be able to go out there. They're also talking about a lighter feeling. You have more energy when you go into the higher dimensions. So you're already tapping into or tuning into free energy by clearing up your own crap and not feeling tense in this world anymore. And so you'll start to feel lighter on your feet. You'll have more energy to do things. That can happen as well. I think that that's about it. I mean, we have done pretty much half an hour on the other video, the part 1. So yeah, I think I'll leave it here, and this is like the part 2. Yeah, nothing else seems to be coming through at the moment. I am also, you're welcome, Ginny. I'm also putting up a little thing that I created yesterday because I just felt like creating this fun little thing. It's like a minute long. It has a message in it, but it's kind of like a fun journey thing with music, and it's just pretty. It's a beautiful little video. So I'm going to put that up either tomorrow or Christmas. I think it's Christmas Day. Yeah, and see what happens tomorrow, whether I go live or not. I do have my girls coming in the nighttime. They weren't going to come for Christmas, but then I put it out that I wanted a really cool Christmas, and then voila, they said that they wanted to come New Year's Eve and Christmas morning. So yay. I had them twice this week. Okay, guys, until next time, bye.